You know, we've all dreamt about it, seen it in the movies. Flying cars zipping through a futuristic city. Well, that sci-fi dream, it's actually starting to happen. But maybe not quite how you'd imagine. So you can forget the flying DeLoreans and get ready for the age of eVTOLs. That's electric, vertical takeoff, and landing aircraft. Let's dig into what this whole revolution in the sky is really about. Just picture this for a second. You're late, you're stuck in that soul-crushing bumper-to-bunker traffic. Now, what if you could just pull out your phone, summon an air taxi, and lift straight up into the sky, leaving all that gridlock behind you? That right there is the promise of what they're calling urban air mobility. It's not just about a faster commute, it's about a totally new and way quieter way of getting around our cities. And look, this is not just some fantasy. Companies like Archer Aviation are building these incredible machines right now. This one here is their Midnight aircraft. It's designed to take a pilot and 4 passengers on trips up to 100 miles. I mean, that's the perfect sweet spot for hopping from, say, the airport to a downtown meeting. And the best part? It does all of this with just a tiny fraction of the noise and pollution of a regular helicopter. So what's the secret sauce here? What actually makes these flying machines possible all of a sudden? Well, it's not just one thing. It's really a bunch of different technologies that have all finally gotten good enough to, take to the skies together. So let's pop the hood and see what's going on inside. Okay, this slide, this really gets to the core of it all, the electric advantage. Just look at that efficiency number. An electric motor is over 90% efficient. That means pretty much all the juice from the battery is actually turning the propellers. A normal engine, it wastes more than half its energy just as heat and noise. Plus, electric motors are way simpler, with hardly any moving parts, which makes them more reliable and a whole lot cheaper to maintain. It's a massive upgrade across the board. Now, having a super efficient motor is fantastic, but it's totally useless if the plane is too heavy to even lift off. And that's where material science comes into play. As this quote says, carbon fiber is absolutely indispensable. Why? Because it's this amazing material that's both stronger and lighter than aluminum. And in the world of electric flight, every single gram you can save translates directly into more range and more paying passengers. But all of this incredible tech runs smack into one gigantic roadblock. It's the Achilles heel of this whole electric revolution. And honestly, it's the one thing that could keep this entire industry from ever really taking off. And that is, of course, the battery. To really get why this is such a huge problem, we've got to talk about something called energy density. Just think of it as how much power you can cram into a certain amount of weight. And right now, jet fuel is the undisputed king of the hill, with a truly staggering 12,000 watt-hours per kilogram. Remember that number. That's the benchmark. And here is where we hit the wall. The absolute best batteries we have today, they top out at around 300 watt-hours per kilogram. I mean, just look at that gap. Even with super efficient motors, you would need a battery that's almost 20 times heavier than the same amount of jet fuel to get the same power. That is a fundamental physics problem that you can't just innovate your way around. This chart just lays it out so clearly. That tiny little bar on the left, that's us. That's where we are today. And that giant on the right is where we need to get. It seems impossible, doesn't it? But wait a minute. Take a closer look at that bar in the middle. That's a little glimmer of hope. And it's coming from, of all places, NASA. Yeah, NASA has this project called SABRES, and it could be a total game changer. They're developing a solid-state battery that doesn't just pack more power and weigh less, but it's also way safer. See, the solid material inside can't catch fire like the liquid in today's batteries can. Now, it's still in the lab for sure, but it's proof that this massive battery problem, well, it might just be solvable after all. Okay, so let's just say we crack the battery problem. We've got the perfect eVTOL. It's ready to go. But there's another enormous hurdle to clear before these things can actually start flying people around. And that hurdle is the government regulators. In the United States, getting a new type of aircraft certified by the FAA is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a gauntlet, really. It's this whole series of incredibly rigorous tests and approvals that can take years and hundreds of millions of dollars to complete. You have to prove the aircraft is safe, that you know how to maintain it, and that you can build every single one exactly the same at scale. It's a super high bar, and you know what? For very good reason. All right, let's say you do all of that. You've got your certified aircraft. So now what? I mean, you can't just land these things on any old rooftop downtown. You need a completely new kind of infrastructure to support this new kind of travel. And that brings us to the vertiport. It's a new word for a totally new concept, a dedicated hub for these eVTOLs to take off, to land, and to recharge. Basically, think of them as mini airports that are scattered all across our cities. And this is not just an idea. The FAA is already drawing up the rulebook for these vertiports. This diagram right here shows you the incredible level of detail they're getting into, right down to the exact painted lines on the landing pad. This isn't just theory. A whole new world of aviation is literally being built from the ground up.
So we've got the tech, we've got the rules being written, but there is one more absolutely crucial ingredient we haven't talked about: money. And in the world of eVTOLs, we are talking about a lot of money.
The potential payoff here is just astronomical. Archer has already lined up $6 billion in pre-orders from massive companies like United Airlines. That's a huge vote of confidence from the industry, and it's exactly why investors are pouring cash into this sector. But, and this is a big but, here's the catch. To get to that $6 billion payday, Archer is burning through $400 million a year. That is a mind-boggling amount of money to spend when you have zero revenue coming in. It is a flat-out race against time, and that clock is ticking loud. So this is the eVTOL gamble in a nutshell. On one side, you've got this multi-billion-dollar market and the chance to completely change how we get around. But on the other side, you have these staggering costs, fierce competition from other startups, and a mountain of regulatory and technical uncertainty. It's the definition of a high-risk, high-reward game, and it is absolutely not for the faint of heart. Okay, so with all of that in mind, the question everybody wants to know is, when can we actually call one of these things for a ride? Let's take a look at the actual timeline. The race to the skies is officially on, and the finish line is actually in sight. Archer is pushing to launch in Abu Dhabi as early as 2025. Its biggest rival, Joby, is targeting a US launch in 2026. If everything goes according to plan, and that's a big if, we could see real functioning air taxi networks in some cities by the end of this decade. It's an ambitious timeline, no doubt, but the pieces are really starting to fall into place. So, the era of the flying car, it really feels like it's dawning. The technology is getting there, the rules are being written, the money is flowing in. The question really isn't if anymore, it's when. But maybe the more important question is, are we, as a society, really ready for the profound changes that are going to come when our cities finally, truly take to the skies?